Longest psalm, 176 verses. It's divided up into 22 groups of 8 verses, each one highlighted by one of the 22 consonants in the Hebrew alphabet. Yeah. It's really a masterful work of poetry, and it's all dedicated to the love of the law, the love of the Torah. All right. We shall begin in the section called Yod, starting in verse 73. Your hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn your commandments. Now, do you catch this? David says to God, give me understanding so I may learn your commandments. He knows that without the help of God, he cannot understand the commandments. Yeah. We got to seek God for understanding of his ways. It's just not something we can figure out on our own. Those who fear you will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in your word. I know, O Lord, that your judgments are right, and that in faithfulness you have afflicted me. Now, he identifies that some affliction does come from him, but he also understands that it's from chastening. Let, I pray, your merciful kindness be for my comfort, according to your word to your servant. Let your tender mercies come to me, that I may live, for your law is my delight. Let the proud be ashamed, for they treated me wrongfully with falsehood, but I will meditate on your precepts. Let those who fear you turn to me, those who know your testimonies. Let my heart be blameless regarding your statutes, that I may not be ashamed. Yeah. He's saying that if I don't follow your word correctly, I will be ashamed. This is dedication to God's way. David was a man after God's own heart. Yeah. And he pursued it. He wanted to pursue it every way he could, and he knew that included observing the law of God. All right. Next, Kaf. All right. My soul faints for your salvation, but I hope in your word. My eyes fail from searching your word, saying, when will you comfort me? Oh, this is tireless searching and learning. Okay. For I have become like a wineskin in smoke, yet I do not forget your statutes. How many are the days of your servant? When will you execute judgment on those who persecute me? Yes. He's not crying out for mercy on his enemies. No, he wants judgment. The proud have dug pits for me, which is not according to your law. Yes. He simply has no stomach for people who willfully violate God's law. No. All your commandments are faithful. They persecute me wrongfully. Help me. They almost made an end of me on earth, but I did not forsake your precepts. Revive me according to your loving kindness, so I may keep the testimony of your mouth. Now, do you understand what he's saying here? They almost made an end of me, but I did not forsake your precepts. He values keeping the laws of God more than he values his own life. You see, that's what truly matters, that he doesn't go against the laws of God, regardless of the circumstances. If I may die, I die, but I'm going to keep your way. All right, Lamed. Forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. Your faithfulness endures to all generations. You establish the earth, and it abides. They continue this day according to your ordinances, for all are your servants. Unless your law had been my delight, I would have then perished in my affliction. I will never forget your precepts, for by then you have given me life. I am yours, save me, for I have sought your precepts. Oh, isn't that beautiful? David declares, I am yours. No? And now he's more or less saying, save that which is yours. The wicked wait for me to destroy me, but I will consider your testimonies. I have seen the consummation of all perfection, but your commandment is exceedingly broad. Right? Mim. Oh, how I love your law. It is my meditation all the day. You, through your commandments, make me wiser than my enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers. For your testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep your precepts. Now, this right here is prophetic, because when Jesus was 12 years old, he was discussing the law with the scribes and the Pharisees and other teachers of the law, and they were astounded by how much he knew, astounded by what he understood. Well, this right here is a foreshadowing of that very event. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for your testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep your precepts. I have restrained my feet from every evil way, that I may keep your word. I have not departed from your judgments, for you yourself have taught me. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through your precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Hates it. You know, in today's world, they say all roads lead to heaven. No, there's only one way. And every other way, David hates. Okay. Nun. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn and confirmed that I will keep your righteous judgments. I am afflicted very much. Revive me, O Lord, according to your word. Accept, I pray, the free will offerings of my mouth, O Lord, and teach me your judgments. My life is continually in my hand, yet I do not forget your law. The wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I have not strayed from your precepts. Your testimonies I have taken as a heritage forever, for they are the rejoicing of my heart. I have inclined my heart to perform your statutes forever to the end. Samek. I hate the double-minded, but I love your law. Oh, okay. Who are the double-minded? They are, well, people really with two minds. One mind says one thing, the other mind says the other thing. And this is where we get the phrase, we can't make up our mind. Or we're constantly changing our mind. We change from one mind to another. You know? One day they say, I will follow God's way, and the other day they say, I won't follow God's way. All depending on their feelings, the circumstances, this and that. They're not founded in any kind of truth. But David, he is totally single-minded. He loves the law of God, and he will abide by it always. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what his feelings, he will always abide by the law. You are my hiding place and my shield. I hope in your word. Depart from me, you evildoers, for I will keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me according to your word, that I may live. And do not let me be ashamed of my hope. Hold me up, and I shall be safe, and I shall observe all your statutes continually. You reject all those who stray from your statutes, for their deceit is falsehood. You put away all the wicked of the earth like dross. Therefore, I love your testimonies. My flesh trembles for fear of you, and I am afraid of your judgments. Yeah. He loves the word because it keeps him from enduring the judgments of his almighty God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so clear in the verse 119. You put away all the wicked of the earth like dross. Therefore, I love your testimonies, because the testimonies of God keep him from doing wicked, and thus receiving the judgment that he fears so greatly. Too many of us. Too many of us, in church, they say, I don't fear God. I don't have to fear God. Listen. If you're right with God, then you need not be afraid of God. I admit that. But at the same time, you should always have some fear of God's judgment, lest you find yourself straying away from him. Yeah. I mean, that fear should keep you in line, because, look, every follower of Jesus, every believer, is going to go through tough times, which can cause them to stray. So if nothing else, let the fear of the judgment of God keep you in line. The rod and the staff, they comfort me. Jesus, the shepherd, he'll whack the sheep with the rod to keep them on the path. And the sheep should grow to fear a smack from the rod. That alone should keep them in line, and it usually does. Same can't be said for some people. Yeah. Okay. Next. Ayin. I have done justice and righteousness. Do not leave me to my oppressors. Be a surety for your servant for good. Do not let the proud oppress me. My eyes fail from seeking your salvation and your righteous word. Deal with your servant according to your mercy, and teach me your statutes. You really see just how the submissive state David is in. He's just saying, deal with your servant himself. According to your mercy, teach me your statutes. He's saying, deal with me. You're the Lord. You're my master. Deal with me and teach me. Yeah. I mean, this is just the whole little child mentality. He's coming to God as a little child, not trying to, be the grown-up and take over. No, the little child understands the authority of the Father. Right. I am your servant. Give me understanding that I may know your testimonies. It is time for you to act, O Lord, for they have regarded your law as void. Not so sure how to take that. David is really telling God what to do here. It is time for you to act, O Lord. But in any case, therefore I love your commandments more than gold, yes, than fine gold. Therefore all your precepts concerning all things I consider to be right. I hate every false way. All right, next. Pay. Your testimonies are wonderful. Therefore my soul keeps them. The entrance of your word gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. I opened my mouth and panted, for I longed for your commandments. Back in Psalm 42, he wrote, as the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after you. He's using the same verbiage here. I opened my mouth and panted, for I longed for your commandments. Yeah. Well, when you long for God, when you truly long for God, you'll also long for his ways. And his ways are spelled out in the commandments. Right. Look upon me and be merciful to me, as your custom is towards those who love your name. Direct my steps by your word, and let no iniquity have dominion over me. Redeem me from the oppression of man, that I may keep your precepts. Make your face shine upon your servant, and teach me your statutes. Rivers of water run down from my eyes, because men do not keep your law. He's moved to tears because of those who don't regard the law, those who don't value it, those who don't understand how precious it is. Oh, yeah. I mean, when other people more or less dismiss something that is so dear to you, yeah, of course you're going to have that reaction. Okay, next, Sadeh. Righteous are you, O Lord, and upright are your judgments. Your testimonies which you have commanded are righteous and very faithful. Yeah. It says the testimonies are faithful. Yeah. We talk about the need for us to be faithful to God and faithful to the Word. Well, the Word is also faithful to us. Yeah. What the Word, if you follow, God spells out, this is what happens if you follow my ways. And the Word is faithful to those promises. Yes. My zeal has consumed me because my enemies have forgotten your words. Your word is very pure, therefore your servant loves it. I am small and despised, yet I do not forget your precepts. Your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and your law is truth. Trouble and anguish have overtaken me, yet your commandments are my delights. The righteousness of your testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. Oh, he's always saying, give me understanding, teach me, teach me. He just can't get enough of what God has to say and to give. All right, next one. Kuf. All right. I cry out with my whole heart. Hear me, O Lord. I will keep your statutes. I will cry out to you. Save me, and I will keep your testimonies. I rise before the dawning of the morning and cry for help. I hope in your word. No. He's seeking after God early in the morning. My eyes are awake through the night watches. Oh, yeah. That I may meditate on your word. Okay, the night watches. Yeah. There are those who forego sleep at night for the sake of prayer, for the sake of intercession, for the sake of just wanting to listen to you. And that's what David does. He does these night watches. Okay. 149. Hear my voice according to your loving kindness. O Lord, revive me according to your justice. They draw near who follow after wickedness. They are far from your law. You are near, O Lord, and all your commandments are truth. Concerning your testimonies, I have known of old that you have founded them forever. Oh. it's just it's just so clear, you know. Following the ways of God leads you from evil, and yet there are so-called believers who just have a rather disregard for the law. You know, they see it as oppressive, they see it as evil, and they're saying, now because of grace, we're free from that, and we don't have to be concerned about it. No, no. You know, the law was never meant to be oppressive. You know, it's those. I mean, there are those who teach law without teaching the grace of God, and therefore, their message is, unless you fulfill the law perfectly, you can't get close to God. That's heresy, and it makes people despise the law. But at the same time, when you're under grace, God's grace, it's through God's grace you would want to keep the law. You know, you don't have to keep the law to make God love you, but you strive to keep the law as a response to the love of God. That is the intention of the word in the new covenant. Okay. All right, let's see. You are near, O Lord, and all your commandments are truth. Concerning your testimonies, I have known of old that you have founded them forever. The testimonies of God are forever. Right. Resh. Consider my affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget your law. Plead my cause and redeem me. Revive me according to your word. Okay, revive me according to your word. According to the word, God revives his servant. So he's calling God out by his word. You know, that he is to be revived. Yeah. There are so many blessings, so many benefits, you know, to keeping the Word of God. So many. And it's a real shame that we don't spend a lot of time focused on that. You know, either we talk about God giving us blessings regardless of how we act, and there are those who simply never acknowledge the blessings of keeping the law. All they say is, keep this law and you won't get punished. Yeah, which is really unfortunate, really unfortunate. Okay. All right. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they do not seek your statutes. Great are your tender mercies, O Lord. Revive me according to your judgments. Many are my persecutors and my enemies, yet I do not turn from your testimonies. You know, most likely he has a lot of enemies simply because of his dedication to God and keeping his ways, rather than coming into alignment with their kind of thinking, which is contrary to God's laws, and they hate it. But he's saying, no matter how many enemies I rack up because of my keeping of the law, I will not stray from it. Yeah. That's called refusing to bow to public opinion. I see the treacherous and am disgusted, for they do not keep your word. Consider how I love your precepts. Revive me, O Lord, according to your loving kindness. You know, first he says, revive me according to your judgments, and now he says, revive me according to your loving kindness. Now this is a man who knows his Father, who knows his Lord, who knows the loving kindness of the Lord. And he knows that because God is so full of loving kindness, he will revive him. That's faith. Oh yeah, that's faith. Right. The entirety of your word is truth, and every one of your righteous judgments endures forever. Okay, Sheen. Right. Princes persecute me without a cause, but my heart stands in awe of your word. I rejoice at your word, as one who finds great treasure. I hate and abhor lying, but I love your law. Yeah, lying is totally against the law of God. All liars will have their place in the lake of fire. 7 times a day I praise you because of your righteous judgments. No, 7 times, the number of perfection. Yeah, that's how. That's pretty precise. You know, it's like I have to praise him 7 times to obtain that number of perfection. Now, let's not be legalistic about it. It's not like saying, I do 7 Hail Marys, But he's not doing this just to appease God. He's simply doing it out of love for him, because he believes that will touch the heart of his Lord. Right. Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing causes them to tremble. Oh, did you catch that? Great peace? Yeah. Peace can be found in observing the law. Who doesn't want peace? Seriously. Yeah. Lord, I hope for your salvation, and I do your commandments. My soul keeps your testimonies, and I love them exceedingly. I keep your precepts and your testimonies, for all my ways are before you. Yes. Lastly, Tau. Let my cry come before you, O Lord. Give me understanding according to your word. Let my supplication come before you. Deliver me according to your word. My lips shall utter praise, for you teach me your statutes. My tongue shall speak of your word. For all your commandments are righteousness. Let my hand become my help, for I have chosen your precepts. Yep, it's a choice. Always a choice. I long for your salvation, O Lord, and your law is my delight. Let my soul live, and it shall praise you. And let your judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I do not forget your commandments. He confesses to going astray, which David did go astray, which he had to be reprimanded for doing. But, God always restores.